Missing Link is the latest movie from Laika, a studio known for their very high-quality stop motion. And to be honest, I wasn't too thrilled about this movie when I saw the trailer. It seemed like a movie that I just wouldn't have that much interest in. It's just something about this trend of Sasquatch and Yetis lately that I just don't get, and I'm just not into. However, I'm pleasantly surprised with this movie because I thought it was actually better than I expected. The movie is about an adventurer named Lionel in the late 1800s trying to look for different monsters and rare creatures. And he's trying to find proof of these creatures so he can join this club of adventurers. He's seen as an outcast because he's looking for these animals that a lot of people believe don't exist. He eventually gets a promising lead to find a Sasquatch in Washington state, and he bets to the leader of the club that if he can bring back some kind of proof, then they will have to let him in. There's quite a lot of traveling in this movie. It's not just one setting, there's a ton of settings, and they really show it off with the stop motion in this. You can tell they had a lot of fun with the set designs and making the backgrounds, spanning all over Europe, Asia, and North America. And there are a lot of scenes on water where they do some really tricky camera movement with the stop motion, and I'm thinking how long that could have taken. It had to be really hard to follow up Kubo, because Kubo had some really excellent scenes, but I'd say there are some scenes in this movie that are on par with the animation that was in Kubo. And all of the character designs and expressions from all the character models look pretty great. Laika is a master of their craft, so the stop motion is going to look incredibly smooth. I believe there are some shots that actually use CG, like for some of the bigger backgrounds and also the water, but they use it in such a way to where it looks very natural. As far as the characters go, I do really like the main character Lionel and his arc throughout the movie. And then the Sasquatch is a pretty fun character. He takes everything literally, so there are a lot of great gags with him throughout the movie. They are eventually joined up by a woman character named Adelina, and she was fine. They do a couple of things with her where you think they're leaning into a different trope, and then they sort of like smash it a bit. Really, the only character I felt that was a bit weak was actually the villain. His motivation actually seemed very childish, though it was kind of the point, I think. There's a bit of a moral about selfishness and belonging and like wanting to belong to the wrong group of people, which I think is a pretty excellent lesson. However, I do think the movie drags a little bit in certain parts, but overall I think it's a really fun adventure film. They travel all around the world in this, and you see a lot of creative shots from Laika, as well as some very dynamic action scenes, which I wasn't expecting from this. I mainly expected this to be a buddy comedy, but it also turned into an adventure action film. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by it. If you have the chance, I would say go see it, especially if you like Laika. I know the theaters aren't going to be very crowded. I was there for the Thursday preview and I was the only one there. So if you have seen Missing Link, tell me down in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, by now we're getting a bit used to winter. We're like soldiers in the middle of a campaign, growing hardened to discomfort and better able to take